So my best study tips are quite simple, but they are still quite effective. And for me, I think that this is what has made me kind of achieve all what I have done so far in my studies. Uh, so first of all, it's super important to, have like a planner, So to ensure that all deadlines and all kinds of assignment, examinations are somewhere, if you have lectures and everything, that you have everything like, in one place, like overview, in relation to the days and everything when they are supposed to be occurring. And I mean, some people, they like to, use like something on their phone to sort of keep everything organized. But for me, I just prefer to also have it written down somewhere. So I have this planner, which I got in Sweden in some, this is actually like, I think this one is from Clas Ohlson, so it's actually available, I think, over in Dubai as well. But this is, I mean, it doesn't look very nice, the outside. It's very plain, boring, but it has these sort of golden sides for the pages. And then it also has this little thing. And why do I like to have my stuff in like a physical book like this? It's because sometimes if you lose, if something, if like the technical equipment and stuff like breaks down, I do enjoy to have everything, still like in some physical book. And also, I don't know, it's just something I enjoy. And what I also do is, I'm gonna show you some, so this is like an empty page for, so what I do enjoy about this one is that it has the full day all the way down to like the timings of the clock. Now I would prefer to have like a, a calendar that had 24 hours in it, because, I don't start study 8 o'clock and finish at 18. I have like, my schedule can be very shifted, depending, because I set my own schedule. So therefore this one is not very current in that sense. But I mean, for the sort of bigger kind of stuff, I think this one is quite good. And it also helped me to remind stuff if I have anything I need to remember, and to get like an overview, like a basic overview. And besides having like a daily kind of monthly planner, I also enjoy having daily planners. So to have sort of to-do list of the day, I make these to-do lists every day. So, and this is like, if you have a lot of things you need to remember, or you just want to, get everything that you need to do in that day somewhere gathered and sort of in some chronological order, I mean, these to-do lists are quite good. So this is just a daily planner. It doesn't have any date. You can write it for yourself. And then it has like all the hours from 7 o'clock until 21. And then you can also write on the side here to do. So I love these because I found these and I think they are quite hard also to get hold on. I got like 2 of these. And I've been using these now for a few months, and I almost make these planners every day because it just keeps everything in one place, and then, it's maybe, these are recyclable, it's paper, so, yeah. And besides those organization things, when it comes to deadlines, assignments and examinations, it's also really important to have like some study place, where are you going to do your studies, Even if you might be on campus in the university, you may find that, it can be quite crowded in some universities, and it can also be, kind of noisy, and it's not always super clean in all universities and stuff. And even if you have like a super nice university, libraries and stuff, you may still feel like it's not really, it's maybe not so inspiring to everyone to sit in the university. So you need to have like your own space, because that also means that you can study anytime during the during the day, you know, even in the nighttime or wherever you find that you are most efficient and effective, you know. So to ensure you have like some, you know, whatever kind of setting that makes you focused and inspired and motivated, like have some space for that. And another thing, I think this is the third thing that I really mentioned, is to have some good pens, you know. So, and have a lot of pens, you know, everywhere. I keep these like in my bags. I keep probably 3 of them, because sometimes there are other students missing pens, you know, if they're taking notes by hand. And I mean, even if you nowadays have like a laptop, you can write everything down on your laptop. You know, the classroom assignments that you take in the classroom, they sometimes require you to handwritten, you know, papers, to handwrite. So that means like if you are not used to write like 10 pages handwritten, you know, it's just going to give you a lot of pain when you actually have to do that. And also for some people, including myself, I actually memorize quite a lot when I'm writing it down, you know. And to me, it's not so difficult to write. I can just, you know, write like 5 pages, taking note of all kinds of things. And that just helps me to remember it, you know. Because everyone, you know, there are these different ways of memorize things. Some people prefer to see it, you know, to maybe see some pictures or have some kind of mind maps. Or some people enjoy hearing it, you know, during like lectures or listen to some videos. And some individuals, they also prefer to actually, you know, movement, like as I said, by writing it you will memorize it because you have written it, especially if it's like complicated words that you need to be able to write. And also to memorization, I mean, you may find some different tools for specific memorization, but you know, there are different ways of sort of taking in knowledge and, you know, sort of process it and so forth. Another thing, when speaking of taking notes, I also enjoy these. These are just the basic kind of, you know, markers, but to have them in different colors is quite beneficial. Some individuals are very organized when it comes to their color coordination of these kinds of things. So they will take like, you know, they will sort of mark whatever is of importance. I mean, this also depends on what you are studying. I assuming that if you're studying law, because I tried to study law, but I realized it was not for me, that I didn't enjoy the subject itself. But that's a whole other story. But anyway, when I was doing that in the beginning, I was like using quite a lot of markers because it helped me to remember in that way, you know. So then you maybe find some own system of your own. I mean, the thing is, when you're studying, you can create system like study system that will help you individually to, you know, be able to attain the knowledge. You know, it's not so much about what someone else is telling you, have to study exactly this way and you will attain all of that knowledge. No, you have to find some system, you know. I'm just sharing these things because this is what have, you know, made me kind of pass everything that I have sort of tried to do so far. So taking, you know, mark whatever, you know, is of importance, even in the notebooks. Like if there's something specific that you really need to remember, I mean, if you have like a lot of notes, it can be very beneficial to have those kinds of markers. Also notebooks. I mean, there are quite a lot of different notebooks. I tend to have these kind of smaller notebooks for when I'm doing like a written kind of examination or assignment, because then maybe I need to write down some, you know, small notes of what I'm actually going to write in the document, or maybe I make some mind maps or something. So then I'm using these kind of smaller notebooks just for those kinds of things. Or for example, if I read in some course literature and I find something that I need to page reference to, then I might write down the page in these kind of smaller notebooks. But also, I mean, if you do, probably you will have some lectures or something, you know, so you might want to get some bigger kind of notebooks for that. And I mean, I prefer kind of colorful notebooks because this is kind of easy for me to remember what did I write in here. I also associate patterns and colors to stuff, you know, so for me I can memorize a lot easier if I have some kind of pattern or something that I can connect the memorization thing to, you know. So for me, if I have written about, because in the end you're going to do quite a lot of courses if you're going to do a program, so if I have like a specific color pattern notebook, I will remember exactly what I have written in that specific notebook, even if I have done like 5 other courses, you know, after. So I mean, these kinds of, this is just like a basic one. It has blue lines and some red stripes on the side. But also sometimes, I mean, some individuals prefer a more minimalistic kind of, you know, stuff, you know, so they might want to have something that's very plain. To me, I wouldn't remember anything if I had like these kinds of notebooks, but the pages in these specifically are a lot thicker. And also, if you want to have the option to sort of remove pages out of the notebooks, and sort of, if you want to, maybe you don't take that many notes in some course and then you still want to continue using the same notebook in another course, then it can be quite beneficial to have these kinds of pages that you can remove and put like in some plastic folder, and then you can continue use the same notebook in another course without having all of that extra stuff from the previous stuff that you have taken notes of. And also to have plastic folders can be beneficial. I tend to try be as environment friendly, so I do not print out a lot of, you know, research articles. I rarely print out anything, but I mean, some people do prefer to print out, but I mean, also think about the environment, because if you're going to do like 20 not 20 programs, but 20 courses, all that paper is going to be quite a lot of strain to the environment. So it's much better if you can just focus on your notes and then keep everything else in the laptop, you know. Also, because as a student you have quite a lot of things to carry around when it comes to books, and for me, maybe you want to get like a rucksack or something, you know, to keep all your stuff in. But I have quite a lot of pain sometimes when I carry a lot on my back, so also to have like some, you know, some fabric sort of basic bag. I mean, if you carry around on one of these, no one is going to want to steal this kind of just plain kind of simple cheap bag. So if you carry some books that are quite valuable, for example, I have this one which is like quite expensive. I think it's like 500 dirham. If I carry it in this, you know, fabric bag, everyone is just like, oh, she's having some shitty kind of stuff in there. It's just nothing, you know. So these are quite practical to carry around, you know, all your notebooks and whatever, you know. You never know what you will have to carry around on. Also, you know, some individuals also enjoy to have like post-it notes. So I have acquired quite a few post-it notes recently, and these are like, you know, all kinds of ones. These are like heart-shaped, can be nice for some, I don't know, kind of notes. And these are just like these, you know, other kinds of more commonly no post-it notes. And also sometimes when I find post-it notes that are cheap, I tend to buy like a lot of them, you know. And these can be useful if you're going to use some kind of course literature that's going to be with you for some time. Instead of writing down notes or like mark like text by some, you know, to mark inside of the book, it's much better to like write down maybe some notes on a paper, or put like one post-it note and just write the kind of subject and put it on that page so you will easily find it, you know. That's better than, you know, destroying the book. These are also quite nice. These actually are quite interesting because I got them in the Middle East, and they have very nice pattern. So again, to me, I love these kinds of geometric Arabic kind of patterns. So that's why I sort of try and buy such kind of notebooks and stuff whenever I find them, you know. Also, like another thing when it comes to like to have good like basic equipment, that's like one thing, but also to, you know, think about other stuff that can be useful. First of all, like discipline yourself. You know, if you're really going to focus on study something, it's better to, you know, really try in the beginning to set like yourself mentally, you know, focus on what you're going to do, you know, and take the time for it. Ensure that you pass it rather than that you're going to fail, because if you initially passing the courses and stuff, you will also gain some confidence in that you actually are able to study, so, and that you can, you know, do these things, you know, so that can be good, you know. And also, I mean, for inspiration, to me, first of all, I don't really get inspired by sitting in the university. So I actually are very effective when I'm like in studying in other places, you know. So if you have the chance, and this probably is going to depend on where you are studying and where you're living and so forth, but go to some place, you know, where there are like super professional individuals, you know, someone who has achieved something or have a successful career. You know, to be around such people is also going to transmit success on you, you know, because their energy is very like it's very like powerful. They are often very charismatic, and I mean, if you get inspired by such people, I mean, that's also going to help you to stay motivated and focused on what you want to achieve. So that's one thing. Like keep check on the people you keep around you, because you don't want to have a lazy kind of sluggish, you know, personalities around you that's not going to benefit you depending on what you want to achieve, you know. So for example, I've been in Abu Dhabi, I've been in Dubai and Jordan and such places, and there are quite, you know, high talented and successful and motivated and striving people, and such people are interesting to, you know, sort of surround yourself with, because that's also going to become your mentality, you know, in how you pursuing your studies. So that's one thing. And also, as I said, shift your study place, you know. Don't always sit in the university if that's not really inspiring to you, you know, if it makes you sort of lose your concentration and your focus, then it's better to go to some other place, even to study in a coffee shop or something. That can also be quite nice, because some of the coffee shops nowadays are quite inspiring environments, you know. And also to take breaks, you know. If you, for example, studying for 45 minutes, then take 5 minutes break, you know, and do something like stand up, move your body, you know, and also to ensure like that you're eating properly, you know, and that you're getting some sleep, because your brain, this is about your brain, you know. If you're going to attain knowledge, you need to focus on sleeping, you need to focus on eating well, you need to exercise, you need to meditate, you should not be stressed. So to stay quite healthy in the meantime, that's going to give you much more like effect in that time that you're actually setting on study, you know. So how can you sort of combine these things together? First of all, I would also say that if you are not having any kind of, you know, concentration problem that has like a diagnosis, but if you have like if you find it hard to concentrate and you need to sort of build up that, I would suggest you to go on some yoga class, do some meditation. Not if you have any kind of mental disorder or something, but if you are just like, you know, you want to improve your concentration, I would say like try meditation. And also that's going to also put you like in a place where you are like relaxed, which means that you're going to be able to memorize a lot easier, you know. But also to let me see here. Yeah, so memorization. Now I forgot what I was going to say here because it was so many things. I totally forgot what I was going to say. You see, this is what happens. So yeah, so just try and like change your place, you know, where you're studying, and don't always sit in the same place if it's not really going to gain you anything, you know, while you are there in the long run. And you know, do some exercising and yoga and like try to meditate. And I was going to say something about concentration, you know. This is like my concentration got lost now, you know. So let me take some tea, maybe I will remember what I was going to say. This, by the way, is actually some green tea, and I can say that also about when it comes to caffeine and stuff. I would try and avoid to drink too much coffee, you know, because you don't want to be like on a high, you know, when you're going to study. And also like if you're drinking alcohol and stuff, I mean, yeah, I mean, for me, that wouldn't function. I wouldn't function if I was drinking alcohol and was trying to memorize something and take in knowledge, you know. Yeah, I was going to say this about concentration. If you find it hard to concentrate, you know, then you should actually try and train up your concentration. So let's say you're going, maybe you're spending time in some train station or in some bus station, or you're sitting on the bus, or you're going to the gym and you're like doing some walking or something. Take some of your course literature with you and try and read and like study while you are in these more like demanding and kind of, you know, distracting environments, you know. And after some time you're going to be really good on like still focus and concentrate while you are in those sort of settings, you know. And also, as I said, if you are short on time, I mean, read when you are at the gym and maybe you're doing some condition training, you know. You can totally, you know, have your books on the machine and you can like be reading pages as you are doing your workout, you know. Same thing if you are like doing yoga or something, like try and study while you're doing this, that kind of stuff as well, you know. And also the timings when you go